Hello everybody, welcome back to the Limit of Adhesion, round 8 of season 2. My name's Gareth, joining me as always in the commentary box is Jim. Jim, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Hello Gareth, hello everybody. Back in the USA, not Laguna Seca this time, Lyme Rock, very excited.
Yeah, absolutely, and just a reminder as always that you can find us at thelimitofadhesion.com where we have news and reviews and all of our race videos are stored there as well. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship then after Oran Park. Rob Miller leading the championship still with 107 points. David Lyne now very close behind him on 103 after his win at Oran Park. Gavin Kelly slipping to third in the championship. And further down the order we can see that Gary Jones is now on 20 points ahead of Lawrence Aaron Jenkins on 14 and Jim Kimberley now tying him on 14 points as well. Will Burnett, Tony Hankin and Luke Hollick down at the back. And now let's have a look at the Teams Championship. Stupid Aguri staying in the lead now, but Keith Chegwin Memorial Team really closing in on them after their double points finish at Oran. Little and Large back down to third in the championship, and Walliams very, very close behind them indeed. So it's all looking very close at the top there for those top 4 teams. Now last week was our first time where we had some stewarding decisions to announce following some of the incidents on track, and car number 83, the Dirty Windslade, received a warning for not adhering to the blue flag and unsafe driving where he blocked Garlic, which cost him the race, and also Mark Tranter got a warning for an unsafe rejoin on that turn 2 lap 2 crash where he hit into Stephen Batty. Jim, what do you make of all that?
It's a bit unfortunate for Garlic, but it's how motorsport is. There's no yellow cards, there's no red cards. It's Garlic can't get his win, but I think it's right that the stewards did issue that warning. It's inadvertently affected the race result despite all good intentions. So it shows the point of having the stewards.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And you can see there was a number of other incidents where more were put down to a racing incident and no penalties were given for those. So, as we said then, we're at Lyme Rock Park and Jim is now going to take us through the circuit guide.
We're back in the States again, but on the east coast for Lyme Rock. The first 2 corners make up the imaginatively named Big Bend. With the run-up being the only heavy braking zone on track, this is where we should see the overtakes. Now, despite this track map showing 2 sets of chicanes, the Limit of Adhesion organisers decided to switch to the higher speed layout instead. This means the cars will be flat out up the hill and later on in the race when the tyres are warm out through the final sweeping corner of the downhill on this sub 1 minute track.
Thanks Jim, and here we are just coming to the end of the qualifying and there is the downhill corner there on the end of the lap and we can see some of the cars going round and let's take a look at the grid.
So we're on board now with Kelly as he goes down the Sam Posey straight looking for his turning point and just skipping the apex a little bit, but that's okay. You run quite wide and then it's onto the second corner, taking a bit of curb on entry, not too much curb at all on exit for him there. And then this is where Kelly spun off last year. Takes a lot of curb on T3 and then just a little bit as he goes through T4. And at this point of the track you want to keep as straight as possible to lose as little time. And now you're looking at the left hand side, go as wide as you can to take a fairly flat out turn in as you go for the uphill at a bit of a correction. And again it's the same thing, lifting off the throttle a little bit, just about taking enough curb not to get punished, and then going on the grass a little bit on exit as we make the final sweeping right hander of the downhill. A lot of curb on exit and it's just flat out up into 5th gear for Kelly as he takes pole position with a 57.222. And that pole gives Kelly his 2nd pole position of the season, and he's joined alongside by David Lyne, who is back on the front row after his blip at Oran Park. It's a carbon copy row 2 from last week as a new and improved Windslade is again in P3 with the man who would have won, Garlic, in 4th. An all Little and Large 3rd row has Miller in 5th with his worst quali of the season ahead of Hankin in 6th, who enjoys his best. Verge of Grip's Tranter continues his midfield qualifying run in 7th, and after 3 P9s in a row, Richards does one better and jumps to P8. Stupid Aguri's Batty in P9 will look to keep KCMT's Jones behind to help the team's championship fight. An all-alpha blobby row 6 with Kimberley ahead of Dixon as both drivers struggle to find pace at Lyme Rock. The second Dirty Legends of Aaron Jenkins casts a lonely figure at the back row in 13th. The same 3 absentees as Oran Park of Burnett, Bibby and Hollick do not feature this week.
Thanks, Jim. Good run through there. Good to see Gary Jones doing well in qualifying. Big improvement from previous. And here we are on the grid then for the start of the race, looking down from above. All the cars now on track, and we're ready for the lights to go red. Lights going red then, engines starting to rise. There's Kelly on pole with Lyne alongside him. Green light, we are racing at Lime Rock Park. And it's a good start from Kelly getting off the grid. And we can see at the back there, it looks like a slow start from Dixon. As they come through T1 then. And 3 wide at the back. Oh, bit of contact there between Dixon and Lawrence Aaron Jenkins. And looks like Jenkins has not made it through the corner and nose missing off Dixon's car there. So here we come through turn 4. Kelly leading from Lyne, from Winslade, from Miller. Garlick in 5th. So Miller gaining a place off the start there, Jim.
Yeah, I feel that Dixon's Alpha Blobby has looked a little bit better before, missing the nose cone, but as you correctly called, it was 3 abreast going into the corner by the looks of it, and yeah, that was never really going to work, even on a track with the width this has got. We've got Tranter now easily dispatching of Garlick there, just had a much better exit.
Great move from Garlick there on cold tyres.
Yeah, so Tranter up into 5th, and Garlick dropping down the orders now behind Hankin.
Yeah, we saw Stephen Batty getting alongside there as well. It's all getting very confusing in the midfield.
Yeah, Garlick and Batty fighting there. It looks like Garlick's had the better of him as we go through these first few corners, and it's pretty much a don't use the brakes from this point on, as we've got Batty now looking to try and get past. And we've got Tranter going through.
Wow.
That's not a place you want to do an overtake.
No way. Amazing stuff looking down the inside there. So here we are on board with Mark Tranter then, and that's Tony Hankin running very wide out of the uphill corner. That's the west bend and now into downhill. And a replay of, oh dear me, that's Garlick losing it then, going sideways, and Stephen Batty getting through. And we see Garlick on the grass there.
A replay, so
yeah,
Garlick just sliding out, and just to correct, it was Miller that was getting past Tranter. And
oh no, sorry to cut you off. Oh gosh,
each other out. Oh,
we have carnage going on at T1 there. That's Hankin, that's Miller, that's Tranter. Stephen Batty was on the grass.
It's an absolute disaster for Little and Larger, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Stephen Batty then, being followed by Gary Richards from the Williams team, and Gary Jones from the KCMT is behind them. So Jones now up to 6th from 10th on the grid. That's a great start he's had, taking advantage of all the carnage. We see further back. Go on.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's just unfortunate how that all seemed to happen, and Hankin just looked to be. He's got Winsley going very wide, and Lyne now with a run up on Kelly. Kelly going defensive onto the inside, and we're switching now back onto Richards, who's got the run on Batty. And astonishing move there by Richards, obviously getting a good run out of the final corner. Looks to have made that move stick as well. But yeah, further back it looked like Hankin. I think it was just really the unfortunate bystander of the incident with Tranter and Miller. Tranter just seemed to just sideswipe, and Batty's really not wanting to give up that place, is he? No, we know Batty's a fighter, so expect to see him taking it to Richards as they get onto the main straight once again. So we can see that Miller and Tranter are currently in the pits for repairs, and Dixon quite far down P11. I think he went into the pits after lap 1 for repairs as well. So Kelly from Lyne, from Winslade, from Richards, from Batty, although that might be about to change as Batty comes to the outside down to T1. But Richards holds the space. Okay, so Gary Jones in 6th. Tony Hankin is in 7th. I wonder if he's carrying any damage from that accident. Garlick in 8th. 9th is Kimberley. 10th is Lawrence Aaron Jenkins. 11th is Paul Dixon. And then Miller and Tranter, as I say, looks like both of them out of the pits now. Yeah,
Well,
Batty's still
looking to the
fighting
outside.
this, so I think 4th and 5th might not stay the same, although
What a
Richards is...
superb move. Sorry to cut you
I
off,
thought
Jim.
Richards could have the inside line, but yeah, Batty easily made that stick before we even got to the uphill. And Jones not too far behind them as well. That's a really, really excellent move there from Batty.
Yeah, it's not somewhere you see passing normally. So here we are then, looking at the front three, and they've got a sizable gap back to Batty and Richards, who obviously had to take avoiding action from that T2 accident. And here we are then, Batty and Richards, 4th and 5th, and fighting hard still.
Yeah, Batty the attacker now to become Batty the defender, and Richards has finished behind his teammate of Garlic every race this year, but with Garlic spinning off as we saw earlier, he's now really taken the Williams lead driver mantle and is trying to desperately get that 4th place at the moment.
Yeah, had some improved pace last week at Oran Park as well, despite missing the tip of his nose. Slight aero damage, obviously, but nothing major. I wonder if these two would benefit from actually just working together and just forming a slipstream train to drag themselves back onto the front of the lead 3. On board with Dixon then. And so that was in lap 1 with Aaron Jenkins. It's unfortunate. So we're on board now with the ledge. Oh, I see. Just clips the rear wheel of Dixon's car there and pictures him into the spin, which takes him back into Ledge's car. That's unfortunate. And that was James Garlick just losing it on the final corner of his own. That's a very tricky corner on cold tyres, as we know. And wow! There's Kimberly really struggling with that corner there. But he's facing the right way now.
By the looks of it, doesn't it?
Indeed, yeah. Facing the right way now. So a replay, that's... so look at that. Tranter and Miller both having a bit of sideways drift and then cannoning into each other, clipping Hankin, and then Batty taking to the grass to get round it. And how did Richards get through without any damage? Cutting back to the lead 3 now. And this is Lyne going round to looking to the outside of Kelly. Nothing doing this lap. And once again...
the Batty-Richards battle rages on.
Yeah. But like I was saying, with the front 3 fighting, it might be better for these two to just sort of like stop fighting and just drive fast laps together.
Yeah, it's not entirely impossible. It's following cars through these corners. If you're trying to fight them, of course, you're going to lose some time. But the front 3 are also fighting, but I just don't know if they've got the same pace as the lead 3. They've really broken away, of course, helped by the fact there's been a lot of contact behind them. But 9 seconds now is a sizable gap to get.
Yeah, absolutely. And a replay then of Winslade looking at Lyne and Kelly ahead of him.
Oh, we've got that's Batty on the inside trying to defend.
Richards to the outside.
This turn 1 is a place to be, isn't it, for all these overtakes?
Absolutely, yeah. And we see Winslade currently with the fastest lap of the race, so taking advantage of that slipstream behind Lyne and Kelly. 57.3 is the current best.
Jones holding his own behind these guys. He's really not dropped Jones, so that KCMT is doing really well this race. Is staying 6th place and keeping those well behind and not really losing sight of Richards ahead.
No, that's great to see, yeah. Quite leery out of that as he popped over the crest there, though, as we saw behind them. Back on board then with Lyne coming into T1. There's Kelly ahead of us in the Stupid Aguri.
Yeah, Lyne is now having to, not having to now, but the entire race trying to get Kelly, but also keep Winslade behind him. Winslade running in a terrific place, trying to get his podium, that first elusive podium he's been looking for.
Well, I expect to see him crashing at some point then. Here's Hankin then attacking Jones, so he's recovered from the earlier incident and he's hot on the heels, and look at that behind, that's Miller closing in.
Miller lap down, of course, though.
Ah, yes. Yeah, so Miller lap down, and then Garlick is behind Miller on track, but behind Hankin for 8th place in the race.
Yeah, Jones is having some sustained pressure, and his helmet design is probably exactly how his sim face looks right at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, we've got Winslade looking on the inside there of Lyne, who himself is trying to get past Kelly. So I don't think Kelly's holding these guys up so much, but Winslade in a prime position as these lead to fighting each other. He just bides his time. And Hankin now going through on Jones on the inside of T1 and looking like it's sticking. Miller behind will be very happy to see that.
Yeah, that's a great move there. Well done to Tony.
I got to feel sorry for Miller as he's now looking at the back of Jones, seeing his teammate go ahead. I just wonder, when I saw that replay with the incident with Tranter just seemed to lose it a little bit, but I don't know if Rob couldn't see that Tranter was spinning out, or if he just wanted to keep that place so much that he ended up having a bit of oversteer as well. And they both just seemed to not contact each other, but oversteered into each other.
I think they both just, maybe Rob just responded to Mark's slide and he went sideways. We just saw a bit of something fly off from one of the cars a moment ago. It looked like a Hankin or Jones or maybe Miller's car. Someone lost maybe the nose tip.
Yeah, I think there'll be a fair bit of damage around, especially in T1 from that big incident. But yeah, if the cars are going over this where we are right now, that's uphill. You almost get a bit airborne. So I just wonder if landing it, the sim car landing, just makes the physics engine decide to throw something off the car at that point.
Yeah, good point. So we're looking down from above, and you can see that downhill corner, which has caught a number of people out.
Well, Winslade's got an excellent run on Lyne by the looks of the exit there from that aerial camera. Moves to the inside, and he's actually got Kelly he's attacking now to try and get the lead. He looks like he's through.
Wow, great move there by Winslade. Up into P2.
Can he hold on to it? He's a little bit shaky on the exit of T2, but Lyne just doesn't seem to have got back onto the back of him, and that looks like a safe P2 now.
Well, I'm sure Lyne will look to do something about it as they get back onto the main straight once again. Some of the drivers had a practice race earlier in the week, and we saw from that it was definitely not a good idea to do many passes in any other place of the track. We had a huge airplane accident into that west bend in that practice race. People trying to go too wide in there. It's just not really doable. Kelly to the inside now, looking for the defensive line.
I just wonder if Kelly was a bit too defensive there. Winslade had a really good run on exit, but Winslade now on the outside of T1, T2. The camera goes away. We can't see this result. Back onto the helicopter. Kelly is still retained first place, and now Winslade, who went very, very deep. Oh, sorry, very, very shallow into the exit. Oh,
what's happened here? Kelly round, Winslade on the grass. Couldn't quite see what happened there. We need to get a replay of that, and that's put David Lyne up into first place. So Lyne from Winslade from Kelly now. So let's hope we get a replay soon and see what on earth just happened.
Yeah, I was trying to say that it looked like Winslade was taking a very shallow line into turn 3, which looked to have given Lyne the opportunity to take second place from him. And Kelly just seemed to extend his lead, but yeah, both of those guys just seemed to be all of a sudden very close together. But that camera angle, I think, might have been a bit deceptive. It looked like there could have been contact, but it's very unclear. But Winslade skipping across the grass in a better way than he did last week, and in second place, and Lyne in first, with just having to watch the other guys fall off the track.
Indeed, yeah. And that lap, it looked like so the slipstream gave Winslade a new fastest lap, but obviously we need to understand what on earth just happened. So we're on board now with Stephen Batty in the second Stupid Aguri. His teammate now just ahead of him.
So where I need to eat my words a little bit. Yes, sorry to interrupt. Yes, so I need to eat my words a little bit, just saying that these guys are a bit too far behind, because of course if they had worked together, Richards and Batty, who've been battling in those early laps, they might have actually had third and fourth place rather than fourth and fifth, with Kelly falling off the road a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Although we're still not sure. Yeah, presumably, I'm expecting contact, but we need to understand that when we get the replay.
Well, Lyne was, I didn't see the exact gap, but Lyne was a bit further ahead of this, of Winslade after that, and Winslade now just within a second. So David Lyne, who's typically quick in qualifying, isn't running away and hiding, even though he's got clear track in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, in Winslade, the gap is slowly creeping down. I was a bit mesmerised by that for a second, sorry. So, here they come on the run downhill through the final corner. And onto the main straight once again, start lap 15.
You just see in the background there, I think that's Kelly just leading the stupid Aguri duo chasing these guys down. Of course, the teams championship is still really, really tight. There's 4 teams, like you pointed out in the pre-race, that are all in excess of 100 points now, and it's a double points finish, especially as high as third and fourth, although that was first and fourth not long ago, could really help Stupid Aguri extend that lead. But now Lyne looking to take 25 points as it stands. And Jones, of course, is in the points. Looks like, looking down, that Garlick's got past him at some point. But yeah, double points finish for KCMT, and as it stands, that would be a decent haul that could close that gap to first place.
And I was going to say that the Dirty Legends were both in the points, but as I said it, Lawrence Aaron Jenkins was in the pits. So he's fallen out of 10th place, sadly. So here we go then. This is Winslade and Lyne for the lead down the main straight and into Big Bend. Winslade on the outside.
Be impressive if he could get a move to stick around the outside of Big Bend, wouldn't he?
Yeah. And having a little look into T2 as well. But you'd have to be a brave man to try a pass in there.
I just wonder I know Winslade's definitely got a lot of pace, and the second half of the championship looks to be a different man coming into this. But is Lyne struggling, or are all the leaders and the lead little battles struggling with this? It's not the longest straight, but it's a straight enough that you can be in the lead as you go down it, just as we're about to approach it. But that could be a disadvantage on this track, as T1's the only overtaking spot, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it'll be the same when we go to Summit Point next week as well. So here we go once again, side by side down the main straight.
Winslade made it work, I think. He's going very wide, though. Lyne attacking back on the inside now, side by side. Winslade will have the inside line now to T3. And Lyne just has to back out. We've got Gareth Winslade into the lead.
Holding my breath watching that. They were side by side through the second apex and down to T2. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, nice clean racing. We don't know what happened earlier with Kelly when he was up there, who's really, really a magnet for disaster at the moment these last few races. But just as I was speaking about that benefit down the main straight, Winslade seems to want to prove my point. But now, of course, we've got Lyne, who may be able to benefit from it this time round. But Winslade's got a really good exit on that last corner. I think that's been his biggest strength this week.
Yeah. So we've got 18 laps completed so far, and just over 13 laps to run. And let's see how Winslade manages to lose the podium this week.
There is just looking down the order a little bit. It's Kelly, I think, closing in a little bit, keeping a decent gap to Batty behind him. And Richards has been the one that's dropped off a little bit. He's about 2 seconds behind Batty now, so those two were running pretty much nose to tail before, but looks like Batty, maybe buoyed by seeing his teammate ahead of him, has been drawn far enough away to kind of solidify that fourth place.
Yeah, indeed, and that means he should be out of the slipstream range as well. And we just saw, just before he's done that 58.5, Lawrence Aaron Jenkins with a 2-minute lap, so he must have had a tow to the pits which is what put him in there. So let's see what happened there. David Lyne with a new personal best lap, but Winslade still with the fastest so far, 56.9. Hankin now with a new personal best.
Well, as he sets that personal best, and Lyne really on the closing in on Winslade there. I was about to say he's going to go side by side as we go uphill, but I think Winslade's going to be okay. But Hankin, I don't know how much he struggled after that incident earlier, but to be running in 6th place after essentially facing the wrong way after a heavy contact, that's a really good effort.
Yeah, he's showing great pace at the moment. So there's our lead 2, and a replay now of Hankin on Jones into T1. Yeah, it was a great move.
Yeah, lovely and clean. He's got Miller behind to watch it. And we've got Tranter again. Oh, same corner.
That's a long way off track, isn't it? As he gets back onto the track without damage, though, which is good. Nice car control. And Kimberley just popping into view behind him.
So this is the incident we wanted to see, isn't it? We're on board now.
Absolutely.
On the nose of Winslade. Kelly runs a little bit wide outside the exit of turn 3, and Winslade does nudge the back of the stupid Iguri and does very well not to go into the barriers. That could have been race ending there.
Yeah, very close to race ending. And here's the ledge on a replay, wide out of the final corner, and just a huge
impact.
One into the back wall. So that'd be why he was towed. Cutting back to the leaders now then.
But
so that's such a shame.
Tale of good luck and bad luck really for Dirty Legends at the moment, isn't it? If we just saw that replay of Aaron Jenkins and Winslade going very wide but maintaining the lead. So the Dirty Legends are in first and last as it stands.
Indeed, yeah, good point. That's such a shame to see that there was contact though between Winslade and Kelly, and that will mean that this will go to the stewards to determine the outcome, not so much of the race because that's sort of fixed, but if there will be a penalty involved, and Winslade already racing under a warning after his the blue flag incident last week, so if he gets a warning for that, then he's staring down the barrel of a penalty.
That's a very good point. Yeah, it's of course he changed the results of the race last week inadvertently, and I don't think there's any malice in running into the back of Kelly. I think I mentioned actually, and we've got Lyne running down the inside again. No doing again this lap. They're taking very different lines through there by the looks of it. But yeah, I was saying earlier that on the off-board that we saw Winslade taking that line through turn 3 and Kelly going very, very wide, so I just don't know if the closing gap was a bit quicker than Winslade expected, and yeah, just hitting the back of a slowing down stupid Iguri.
Yeah,
backed out of it possibly.
Yeah, he probably should have done because Kelly was sent on to a very different line through T2, and a shame, but he'll have to learn from that one.
Yeah, as Daniel the Torpedo Kvyat says, that's racing.
But this is the second week in a row that we've had Winslade running up in this sort of in the podium spot, so it's it's got to be different for him from normal battling in the sort of upper midfield.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's racing against different people, but has he honed his racecraft a little bit, or yes, this just second half of the season he's just been, he's always been like kind of, I guess, there or thereabouts, but podium positions have just been elusive to him, and now we're looking at, well, he was in the podium positions last week, he's in the podium positions this week, and has he just found that extra few tenths to elevate him to this, well, Miller, Lyne, Kelly, Tranter sort of top 4 of the league?
Yeah, something about the midweek, the mid-race was always his biggest issue, I seem to recall. So maybe he's got on top of that and not binning it on cold tyres, as we saw.
Also, qualifying higher has been pretty good for him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll see what happens if he gets if he gets a warning or a penalty from the Kelly incident, which happened in this very corner a few laps ago. So a bit of a slow last lap there from Hankin, 1:02. Wonder if he had a bit of an incident. Lost about 5 seconds there.
There's Garlic now into sixth behind his teammate. So just behind this lead battle that we're watching, you've got two Stupid Aguris and two Williams drivers, both of which might fancy their chances of taking the team's championship.
Yeah, and Williams with a double points finish last time out as well, which is really good to see. So let's take a run down the Lyne now having another look into T1, really trying to force Winslade into these defensive moves. Perhaps he can pressure him into a mistake.
It's as close as you can get really at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, 0.3 of a second between these two. So we've got Winslade from Lyne from Kelly, Stephen Batty in 4th, Gary Richards is in 5th, James Garlick in 6th, Hankin is in 7th place, Gary Jones is in 8th, 9th is Jim Kimberley, and 10th is Paul Dixon, which means could be a double points finish for the Alpha Blobbies, the second week running. Miller is a lap down in 11th, 12th is Mark Tranter, and that looks like Lawrence Aaron Jenkins is in 13th and appears to be back in the pits once again.
Yeah, so very well spotted there. I don't know if that's a permanent pit or if that's just in the pits, but I think the Alpha Blobbies are probably quite lucky at the moment that Miller and Tranter had their offs, as they have shown significantly more pace than either of those drivers, as you can actually see when you look down the last laps. But yeah, it's again, that's racing. So Miller and Tranter, unfortunately, Miller going to be probably losing his championship lead as it stands, whether Lyne finishes in first or second. It's very, very, very close at the top, and yeah, without Miller to defend that championship lead, it's going to really open up the championship. And of course, next week is going to be the turning point, or the split point of the championship, where the results start getting dropped thereafter. So could really see the championship at the top really closing up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's going to be really exciting to see what how the order changes, or if it changes when we start dropping those scores. So Stephen Batty, Gary Richards looking relatively close together. Kelly's just dropped the pair of them though. I mean, that's some really rapid pace. He's pulled away by about 6 seconds. I wonder, did Batty get tagged in that lap 2 crash? It looked like he was off the grass with it, so he must presumably got a bit of damage from it. And
I've seen bits flying off the cars, so it could have been something from Batty, I don't know. But yeah, it's a valid point, and Richards once again seems to have resumed that battle, and could be looking to try and get past that Stupid Aguri.
And here's Lyne then with an excellent slipstream on Winslade.
Winslade just seems to have figured out the attacks that Lyne has got and just isn't letting him through by the looks of it. Winslade can continue getting his solid exit that he's had off that last downhill corner, then he should be fairly safe for the rest of the race. I mean, Lyne can look on the inside here as you're going up into the uphill, but you're really not going to get an overtake in that corner, and it's all about the exit of the one we're about to go through here. Yeah, West Bend.
So replay then of the ledge. Second. Oh no! In he goes.
Replay of a replay, isn't it?
No, yeah. I think that's his second one into the barrier there. So and here's why Hankin had that slow lap, and why Richards was able to scamper through. Oh, sorry, that's Garlic, isn't it? Garlic's getting through and past him.
Indeed, and Hankin having a very similar incident that we saw to Tranter, who ran off that off track there as well.
Yeah, and so here's Jim Kimberley tracking Gary Jones then, and this is for 8th and 9th.
Who's out ahead of them? That is Tranter ahead, but Tranter, of course, a lap down ahead of them.
Yes, indeed. And we can see that, the ledge is still in the pits and now 6 laps down, so you only get one quick repair a race, so he must be now in the pits for a very lengthy stop. It's unfortunate.
It's crazy when you're watching this now, you see Kimberly chasing Jones, that Tranter, who's in 12th, is in the position ahead of ahead of the ledge, like you can see there, but 6 laps behind is Jenkins.
That's one very totaled Dirty Legends car.
Well, we've seen that Dirty Legends car go around on 3 wheels before, but I don't think he's going to go very fast with just the one by the looks of that angle.
Yeah, there wasn't much left to it.
What's this now? Is this the lead battle? You can see it's a bit dark in the shade there, and
yeah, very gloomy down there, wasn't it? So this is, yes, it is the lead battle, like you say. That's it almost looked like Hankins' car, it was so dark.
Indeed, and we've got Batty and Richards resuming their fight now, and Richards right on the tail of Batty. So yeah, you pointed out Batty might be, I don't know, running damage or something, but Kelly has dropped him, but Richards is back right on the tail. He had a little 2-second gap before, a little bit of a respite for Batty, but Richards now really smelling that 4th place.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Batty has got damage, because his fastest lap is a 57.3, so he's pretty much up there with the rest of them. But look at that now. He popped in a couple of laps ago. David Lyne, the new fastest lap of the race, 56.789, as he had that enormous slipstream behind Winslade. I mean, that is a stonkingly fast time.
That's insane pace, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, and Kelly with a 57.000. Try doing that twice.
Just looking down the order again now, and Jones has now got a bigger gap onto Kimberly, who's fallen back into the clutches of Dixon. So Jones looks like he's going to get that P8 and double points finish for KCMT, which will help their championship.
Yeah, that will help them enormously. So is this our 4th and 5th fight continuing? Yes, it is. So that corner is called uphill, even though it's at the bottom of the hill. And then this one is called the West Bend, which you would think is uphill. And now the final corner is downhill. And look at that, last lap of the race then.
Yeah,
Batty going super defensive. And
1 lap to do this now for Richards to make his way through.
Big lock up from, God, that was close to contact.
I don't know if there was a bit of contact. It looked like Batty might have just slid into Richards completely inadvertently as Richards tries to go around the outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now the lead. This is the last few corners, I think.
Yep. So there's just the West Bend and downhill to go. And is Winslade going to hang on for his first... Well, it's his first ever podium either way, or is it going to be his first victory as well? Lyne now with a super run coming out of the final corner. And that's... is that Trent getting out of the way? And...
0.01 seconds between them on the line by the looks of the numbers there. We've got Batty now. Batty and Richards. And another slow car, that's Kimberly, just on the start-finish line, just like the lead 2. And well, the contact came after the race, thankfully, but Batty holds on for 4th place.
So, Gareth Winslade from no podiums makes it 1 win, and his first podium to boot. David Lyne finishing P2 with just 0.1 second behind him, and taking the fastest lap. We get another look at the Ledger's car sitting there in the pits. That's a really sad state. So, final race classification then. Gareth Winslade takes the win. David Lyne comes 2nd. Gavin Kelly in 3rd place. And then Stephen Batty comes home P4. Richards 5th. Garlick 6th. Hankin comes home 7th. Jones comes home in 8th. And then Paul Dixon 9th. And Jim Kimberley comes home in 10th. As we take a look further down, Rob Miller coming home a lap down out of the points, Mark Tranter 2 laps down, and Lawrence Aaron Jenkins 11 laps down and retiring in the pits after his second contact into the wall. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship then. And David Lyne now into first place in the championship on 121 points. Rob Miller remains on 107. Gavin Kelly remains in third, and 10 points behind him is Garlick. Winslade now up to fifth, so that was a good result for him. Then we've got Tranter, Batty, Richards, Bibby and Dixon.
Really tight at that top half, isn't it?
Oh, it really is, yeah. Jones remains in 11th place. Kimberley moves up to 12th, Hankin up to 13th, and Lawrence Aaron Jenkins falls to 14th place. Then we've got Burnett and Hollick. Jim, take us through the teams.
Yeah, well, Stupid Aguri have got their leads still, but KTMT are not letting them breathe, so only a few points between them. And Walliams and Little and Large, great double points finish for Walliams, and a bit of unfortunate result there for Little and Large of both their drives being in instance early on. So yeah, it's all to play for. I really don't know who could win that team's championship. Further down with Alpha Blobby taking Dixon's points, they've jumped quite a bit ahead of Lucky Bibbs now, but Lucky Bibbs of course haven't contested a race for a little while. Dirty Legends got Winslade jumping them up and getting a decent gap onto the Virgin Grip driver.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see Jim Kimberley says, congrats to Mr. Winslade. Does anyone have a spare set of tyre warmers I could borrow? Mark Tranter, well done Gareth on your inaugural win. Not sure if I've said this, but I hate this car. Yeah, I think you have, Mark. And David Lyne, well done G-Balls. Pretty happy with my second, but I will dedicate it to Des O'Connor, who sadly died today. Indeed.
Classy stuff from the line.
Yep. And I believe go on.
After you, mate. After you.
Well, I was going to say, I believe they're running a memorial livery next time out.
That's even more classy.
Yeah. They ran their livery this week. Sorry, I beg your pardon. So next time we are going to be going to Summit Point, another old school American track, bumpy as anything, and the one we nicknamed the Safari Park last time out. Jim, where can people find you on the internet?
As ever, you can find more of my work where I write on medium.com. You can find me on YouTube for my satire series, The F1 Week That Was, or you can follow me on Instagram, should I say, for a little bit of both. You can just search for Jim on F1 on any of those.
Excellent, thanks Jim. And you can find us at limitofadhesion.com on Facebook, Discord, and don't forget to like and subscribe our videos. And yeah, we'll find out what happens with the stewards after the Winslade and Kelly contact this time out. Jim, thanks so much for being with us again, and we'll see you all next time out. Bye bye.